Hey there, fight fans. It's Fight Talk UK back on another video. So, yeah, Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. What absolute classic fight that was. That definitely lived up to what their father's done. It finished off. It finished off what their father started, and that's first and foremost. I want to say that it was an excellent fight. I'm glad Sydney was there for you, Junior, as well. I'm glad, yeah, I think it was probably mind games. I'm glad he turned up anyway. But what absolute, from round 5 onwards, it started to catch a light, and it just was, it just was wonderful, wonderful fight. I was glued to it. Usually, I'll tweet or I message in my group or whatever, in my group because I was at home watching it. I messaged in my group, and I just was glued to the TV. I was just glued, and I thought, this is an absolute. As much as it wasn't for a world title fight or nothing. It wasn't that a significant fight like that, but it was a good fight, and obviously Chris Eubank Jr. won, hands down. The right man won. Don't get me wrong, it was a close fight, but definitely the right man got the rub of the green. I've watched it like 3 or 4 times. I was in the gym on the treadmill, doing my long walk as I do, and I was watching the fight. I'm walking, I'm thinking, man, this was an absolute. Again, I was just glued to it. But yeah, man, this was an absolute really good fight, and I think that Chris Eubank Jr. actually, on Jonathan Banks, I think this is his best performance because just for me, he's improved. I think Jonathan Banks has improved his jab. His jab's a lot sharper. It's not as fast as it used to be, but now he's using timing and a sharper technique and better technique. He's throwing his punch a lot better. So I think Jonathan Banks is it's a good recipe for him. I think this. Yeah, he changed the trainers all the time. He had Roy Jones, Bomac, now Jonathan Banks. I think he should stick with Jonathan Banks because I think Jonathan Banks got the best out of him, and I think he's improved him in some way, in some areas, because he didn't try to add anything to him. All he did is trying to improve him. And the thing is, you can, if you got the right teacher, you can improve. When they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, I think that's a fallacy. That's a limitation we put on ourselves. The one thing that we know we can't defeat, everyone can't defeat, is Father Time. But it's still good to teach old dog new tricks. You can learn something new. You learn something new as you go on through life. So why can't you learn something new in sport? I just think it's a limiting factor and a limited way of thinking. That's just my thoughts anyway. But yeah, it was a really good fight, man. Action packed. Conor Benn did hurt Eubank in there, but I think that's more to do with the weight cut. And I think the weight cut is a big reason why Conor lasted so long in there. I think if it was at 168 or there was no rehydration clause, I think it would probably be a different fight. I think anyway. But it was competitive. I thought it'd be competitive for 3-4 rounds, and then Eubank would take over. It was competitive throughout. Obviously, the rounds that Eubank won, he won convincingly. Yeah, kind of won 1 or 2 rounds in there, but it wasn't. It weren't a shutout. It was a good performance by both men. I think both men fought on emotion, but it was a fight that I think boxing really needed. A good fight. It wasn't boxing. It was a fight. If you can hear some snoring in the background, it's my dog. Don't be alarmed. Just my dog snoring. Yeah. So it for me, it was a fight that boxing needed the fight like that. Not saying that those particularly in the individuals like Benn and Eubank. I mean, particularly a fight like that. It's like everyone's talking about it. I was in the sauna yesterday at the gym, and people are talking about it in the sauna. It captured the imagination of the British public. We are going through so much more as the British public right now. The cost of living crisis and whatever, and there's very few things we can all unify on. And I think that was the one thing that the whole British public unified on. That one thing was that fight, and everyone talks about it. I couldn't go anywhere without talking about it. yesterday in the gym. I went in the sauna. It was just the talk of everything yesterday. So, you know, is there going to be a rematch? Is Conor going to make a rematch? And it sounds like he is because Nigel Benn tweeted it and said, "Oh, it's not over yet." But obviously, still, as far as I knew yesterday, he was still in hospital. But as I'm making this video, I don't know if he's at hospital yet. Chris Eubank Jr. But I hope he's at home and recovering and whatever. Yeah, that weight cut. I don't think if there is a rematch that be had, I think it can't be no rehydration clause or 160. I think they'll do a catch weight or something because it's not safe. And the way Eubank Jr. looked and the way he looks like he's gonna faint or like a drug user, like what I mean, like so he looked like. And I think it's crazy. That was a crazy weight cut, and I think that's the only thing I didn't like about this whole thing was this weight cut and this weight drain and blah blah blah, and kind of trying to make everything in his favor, like changing the size of the ring. If you are confident in your abilities, then you wouldn't need all these advantages, do you? Really, to be honest with you. But if you want to take, obviously you're going up in weight, so you got to try and take some advantage in your favor, and I get that. But I just think that's a sad way of doing it. Yeah, so if there's a rematch, no rehydration clause, I think should be a catch weight. I don't think Eubank Jr. has outgrown that weight now. I think he can't make 160. Remember, it was only like half an ounce, not even half an ounce. It was a small margin like that. So yeah, it was absolutely a good night of boxing. There's a few other fights that I'll talk about in separate videos, like Anthony Yard and Anthony Yard video, and I think Neil Smith's on his way out. But end of the day, let's do it where we can comments on what you thought about this fight here. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'm out, people.